Hello and welcome to Creating Wealth with Purpose platform. I am Suyini Salifo and we are excited to have you here. On this channel, we discuss managing your personal finances, creating wealth, and being a blessing and supporting your community. So today we have a very interesting topic to discuss, that is exploring one of the streams of passive income. If you've been visiting with us, please take a minute, click the subscribe button, and definitely share this video since you will really enjoy it, and click the notification button. So today, as I mentioned, we are discussing one stream of passive income, and that is writing books. Many people have a passion to write books. Many people want to author things, want to put it out, and have been wondering how to do it. And I'm very honored today to discuss with a very distinguished gentleman. He is an author and a leadership expert in the person of Dr. Joshua Mogre. Dr. Mogre, welcome to our platform.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for making the time, as you are extremely busy, to discuss with us this topic. So on our channel, we've been discussing different types of income, passive and active income. And one of the examples of passive income is putting content in the form of a book. And you have written 2 books. Can you share a bit on how you got into writing books?
Well, my motivation for writing was a bit different from most people. My first 2 books are relationship books. The first one is Secrets to Love and Getting Married, and the second one is Secrets to Love and Staying Married. So what actually happened is that for the first one, I think I was tired of failed relationships, and I went on a journey to read and learn about relationships. In doing that, I read a lot of books about relation. Boy Meets Girl, I Kiss Dating Goodbye, God is a Matchmaker. But I was struggling to find one that was in the African context.
Okay.
A lot of their examples were a bit interesting as compared to what we were experiencing as Africans or Ghanaians. So when I finally got married, I felt like there was a gap there. So I wrote the book to fill the gap. And then when I got married, I realized that getting married is easier than staying married, which is the tagline of the book. So in learning how to stay married, I said, if who I felt I was a good person, was experiencing these problems, and a lot of people are experiencing these same problems. So then I then wrote the book on staying married, kind of free therapy for myself. And I was walking people through my learning process of going through it. So that was my initial reason for writing books. So I don't think it started out as an idea for passive income, but it did come around to produce passive income.
Okay. So at what point in your personal therapy or journal were you like, this will make a good book? Because you were just writing your thoughts or probably sharing them for yourself. So at what point did you feel that I do have information for a book, looking at all the books out there?
Well, I think it's a situation where I never like to let a problem go wasted.
Okay.
So if I face the problem and the problem has cost me sleepless nights, it's cost me money, how can I get that problem to now be a blessing for me? So basically that was it. And then I've always liked writing. So how I also process things, I journal nearly daily. I think about 95% of the year I journal on a daily basis. So it was more or less me just putting together a list of things that I felt were relevant and then putting the information out there. So that's, I don't know if I'm answering the question well, but that's what brought me to that place.
Okay. So from the time you decided to write the book, how long did it take you? And then dive a bit into publishing, because that's also another to it.
Now, if you are in Ghana and you want to write a book, the book goes at the pace that you want to write it. Okay. because I think like 98 to 99% of all Ghanaian authors are self-published.
Okay.
If you are an author in the US, you discuss with the publishers the subject you want to write, you discuss the title, you agree on timelines. Sometimes they even give you a certain part payment for the writing of the book. You write the book, you have several revisions with the editors, and then it's put out to print, and then they handle distribution, and you do the marketing and the road shows and so on. It's a little bit different in Ghana because you have to do everything. Okay. There are no systems, very few systems that can work that out for you. Okay. So for me, and mine is a little bit different because for me, it takes me, if I can block out the period, it takes me 2 to 3 weeks to write a book.
Wow.
2 to 3 weeks and I'm done. Secrets to Love and Staying Married, I did it in a week.
Woo.
And that book is thick. I did it in a week. No one should disturb me. Basically shifted the table to the window, sat down and kept writing it. So for me, the writing is not too much of a problem. For some people, the writing is a problem. The writing is not too much of a problem. The challenge is the editing. The reading, because one of my problems is I don't like reading something I have written more than twice. So the proofreading, the going back and forth, getting a publisher, raising the money to pay the publisher, that takes 4 to 10 months. So the actual writing of the first manuscript takes me a week. The first one took me about 2 weeks. And with the first one, I was writing it in between sessions during a workshop. I started writing the book during a workshop in between sessions. And some people really feel there must be a perfect time. At that time, I just started writing. So for various people, like for Bishop Ajinasari, he says he writes when he's stressed. Okay. And he's put out nearly 100 books. So, but everybody has their stuff. So I think for someone who's thinking about that, you need to find out what works for you. And then, but the work, the tedious part of it, and that's one of the problems we have with a lot of Ghanaian and African books where the proofreading is poor, the typesetting is poor, even the choice of a cover and the picture for the cover is very poor because there's this rush to put it out there. But the writing period doesn't take too long for most people. But then what you will then have to spend a lot of time on is the editing and then finalizing of the book.
Okay. All right. Awesome. So let's link it to income.
Okay.
Would you say writing books is a good source of income? Is it profitable? As much as you have a passion to do something, you still need to be able to support yourself. So with someone who has a desire to write books as a source of income, what would you say from your experience?
Well, here's a challenge that people don't realize about writing books. You spend your time writing a book, but books don't sell themselves. So an author, what makes a book profitable or not profitable is your ability to sell the books. Now, we live in a system where there's no machinery that sells books. It's not like it puts it on shelves. It's not appearing in front of people. We don't do book signings. So when you do write a book in Ghana, for it to be profitable, there are a couple of things that I think you need to do. The first thing is that within the launch and the initial hype around the book, you should be able to make about 90% of the cost of putting the book out there.
Okay.
Because the major cost you are incurring is the printing.
Okay.
So when you are printing the books, some people want to print 5,000 and the printers will tell you, they push for you to print more because they give you a spreadsheet that says, if you print 100, this is what it will cost. If you print 200, this is what it costs. If you print 1,000. So you look at it and say, oh, let me print 3,000 books. But as an author, the question is, how many can you sell?
Okay.
So based on the number you can sell, it either becomes profitable or not. So one thing that if you're able to have a good book launch and get back most of the money there, then the rest of the books you sell is passive income and it's all a profit. So for most of my books, by the time I've finished with the launch and gone a month into it, I probably would have made back the initial cost.
Okay.
So then from that point onwards, every book I sell is basically a profit from the book.
Okay. Okay. So let's go back a bit to how you got into writing books. Books go under categories, and you have written a book from or triggered or motivated by your experience. If someone is there who has many experiences, how then do you position yourself as an author? Because you've had this, and you're like, oh, we should learn something from this, or we should learn from there. How do you think you can build that brand as an author, looking at what's out there?
It's tricky because first of all, the thing is that you need to decide whether you're writing as a passion or you're writing to make money.
Okay.
I have a friend who wrote a book on how to study and pass exams. He didn't have a job. He went around schools to give talks and sold 5,000 copies of how to pass exams. He knew he was marketing it to high school students and junior high school students. So he was going through these places. He didn't go too much on the quality of the paper in the book, the quality of the typesetting, because for him it was, I'm trying to make money out here and I'm selling books. Then there are those who write because it's a passion and it's a need. I read somewhere that the 5 love languages, in the first 5 years or the first 10 years, it didn't sell more than 300 copies. Wow. And then after that, was it the 10th year, it sold up to 7 million copies. So financially, it may have been a failure for the first couple of years. When you look at John Grisham, one of my favorite authors, A Time to Kill, he had to go with the book in the trunk of his car or the boot of his car and practically give them out up until he made a name. Okay. And then the reprints of A Time to Kill then started making him money and are still making him money to date. So I think you need to have a realistic view of how you want it to make money for you. Okay. If your desire is, I'm doing this to make money, then you must have a strategy that pushes the books. Okay. Because books don't sell themselves. Books don't sell on shelves. Books sell where you speak. Okay. So if you're writing a book and you want it to, especially self-help books, if you really want to make money out of the book, then you must make room to speak and pitch the book to people and then sell the books. If not, you'll be sitting with a warehouse full of books.
Okay. So just rounding up, can you give some tips? There are people out there, authors who want to begin. Do you have any tips you'd want to give, to share from your experience?
Okay. I would say make sure you have a unique message. Okay. Because for every book you think of writing, if you Googled that subject, you realize that there are thousands of authors. So make sure you have a unique message. Make sure you have a unique style. People, you see, you can write the book, but the question is that, is the book easy to read? Okay. When the book is hard to read, people struggle with the book. So apart from friends and family and people who want to make you happy, who buy it, if people are not easily able to read it. Another thing too is I think the season of thick books is passing. So people are busy. The attention span of millennials and Gen Zs is very low. So you may want to write books that are in smaller bites instead of one large book. Then also you need to have a marketing plan for the book. How you are going to recoup the money that you are going to put into the book. And if you want to use the digital platforms, how you are going to get your royalties from the digital platforms is important. So have a marketing strategy. And I think you should go quality over quantity in the book you are writing. if you can make the point in one paragraph, you don't have to go 3 paragraphs to make the point, so that it's not a labor, but people actually enjoy it and can go. And most of all, self-help books sell the most. The how-to books.
Okay.
You are better off writing a how-to book.
Okay.
No one wants to read about your experience. Your experience comes in. They want to read about your experience when it's in a how-to.
Okay.
But we live in a very selfish world today where everybody is thinking of what I can get out of it.
Okay.
So if the book is not answering a need, it will not sell.
Okay.
By writing a book, The Seasons of Changing Life, no, it should be how to manage the problematic seasons of life.
Okay.
Then, and even the choosing of the title.
Yeah.
When I wrote my initial book, it was a self-help guide to dating and getting married. And my good friend, Pastor Aaron Fan, said, this title will not sell. Okay. So then we looked at Secrets to Love and Getting Married. Okay. So those are some of the tips.
Okay. Should we expect more books from you?
Well, definitely. I think less than a year from now, I have a number of manuscripts. I'm currently working on some. I've freed up time now, so definitely a lot of books are going to be coming out.
Okay, all right. So thank you so much, Dr. Joshua Mogre. To get in touch and to get to know more about his books, we're going to post his handles down. You can link up with Joshua Mogre for more tips. And as we've learned today, I encourage you, if your passion is writing, and then you should explore that and definitely build a stream of passive income for yourself. Don't forget again to subscribe and click the notification bell so when we post new videos, you can see them. Thank you so much.